Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch me. So today we will be looking at seeking asylum in Brazil. This is actually the part 2 of this particular topic because I have made a previous video explaining in details how to seek asylum in Brazil. And just to let you know, seeking asylum in Brazil is absolutely not difficult. I have said it 1 billion times. I'm saying it again. It is not difficult to seek asylum in Brazil. All right, so now this particular video, because I'm doing it for the second time, this is the second time I will be talking about seeking asylum in Brazil, was inspired by questions that came from people, you know, in my comment section, and I decided to make a video because it kept coming. It's a frequently asked question, so in order to just put it out there for everybody to consume, I decided to make another video concerning answering people's answering people's concerns. All right, so let's dive right into this topic. All right, now seeking asylum in Brazil, I don't know if I've said it before, but I'm saying it again, that is absolutely not difficult to seek. All right, you want to seek asylum, it is not difficult to do so in Brazil. It is very easy. It is an easy process. All right, you can either do it by yourself or you go through certain organizations that can assist you to do so. All right, so these organizations, they care for immigrants. Their work is to care solely for immigrants. And when I came to Brazil, these were the organizations that helped me. And that is why I'm here to bring this to you so you can consume the information and use it to help yourself. Now, like I said before, you can either seek this asylum by yourself online, do it by yourself on your own, fill the forms and all of that stuff. Or if you cannot do it, you can approach certain organizations that I've talked about 1 billion times on my channel to help you achieve this goal. I'm going to be putting the list of organizations you can approach right here so that you can approach them. They will help you. They will help you. Brazil is immigrant friendly. They don't scare people. They don't make you scared of anything. Even while you're seeking your asylum, no one is going to make you feel bad. No one is going to make you feel scared. No one is going to make you feel like, what are you doing in my country? It is a very calm, humanitarian, country. Like, they are so kind. Anyway, so like I said, speaking further into this topic, there are certain things I would like to address regarding seeking asylum in Brazil. So questions like how long does it take for you to get your temporal residency after applying for asylum? Because when you're applying for asylum on that day, what you need to do is there are going to be a group of lawyers that will help you, ask you questions. You don't need to be scared, because there's nothing scary about seeking asylum in Brazil. It is relaxing. No one is going to frustrate you because you're coming here to seek asylum. If you feel for whatever reason you need to seek asylum, it's okay to seek asylum. All right, if you're having problems in your country, seek asylum in Brazil. It's fine. If for whatever your reasons are, you choose to seek asylum, and they will help you. When you seek this asylum, all right, after filling your form, telling your story, it all depends on you, whatever story you choose to tell. But in my case, when I was telling my story, then I didn't even bother to lie. I wasn't even ready to start talking about Boko Haram. Boko what? I lived in Lagos. Nothing was Boko Haram in me. So I didn't see any need to use the Boko Haram story because it is so saturated everywhere. Everyone is using the same story. And we all know Boko Haram is not everywhere in Nigeria. So why the hell would I want to use the same story that doesn't even, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable talking about it because to me, I feel I'm lying. So I used a real life situation that happened to me. It might not be enough to qualify me for the permanent residency, because the reason you're seeking asylum is to say, hey, I cannot go back to my country. I'm scared of something. I don't want to go back. Please, can you grant me permanent residency in your country? That is the meaning of asylum seeking. You're begging them to please allow you be a permanent resident in their country because you're scared of something back home. Scared of something where you're coming from. That is the essence. So whatever story you tell, it might not be enough to keep you. It might not be enough. Like the story I told, I don't know, right from time, looking at the asylum rules, whatever is taking you out of your country, making you scared, must be very concrete. They must see it as something so scary that you can take a life. All right. So when I told my story, looking at it, I already knew it wasn't probably going to grant me. I don't know, but to me, reading from the asylum rules everywhere, all over the world, I don't think it would have granted me the permanent residency that I wanted. But in my head, I already knew before that time, before they would invite me for asylum interview to say, come, we want to hear your story again. We are ready to see if we want to consider you for permanent residency. I already knew I was going to find a way to swap. So you use your head. You know, if you have sense, you have sense. If you don't have sense, you don't have it. That is the reality, right? Anyway, so I told a true life story. So it's not left to them to look at it and say, oh, the story is strong enough for us to give you, at Daisy, the permanent residency. But if it's not strong enough, it's okay also. But I didn't lie. All right. So whatever your situation is, you can tell your story. No one is going to kill you for telling a particular story. No one is going to scare you. They would even advise you. They would even advise you on the type of story that they will tell you, oh, this is the situation. Before they even start with you, they will orientate you. Okay, whatever is driving you from home, whatever is driving you from, excuse me, my baby is crying. So whatever is driving you from home, say hello. She's not interested. Anyway, whatever is driving you from home, the lawyers will advise you, like, okay, the lawyers will advise you, these are the type of situations that they look at to see that, okay, they can grant you this asylum based on the fact that your story is really scary. They will tell you the types of things. So it's not left to, if you don't have that type of story, tell whatever story you feel like. If you want to change in the future from the asylum residency to permanent residency somehow, then you can do so along the line. All right. So it all depends. It all depends on the story itself. But in my case, like I said, I told a true life story. It was really a scary story, but I don't know. I somehow knew it might not qualify me to get a permanent residency, but who knows? They might even look at it and say, oh, wow, it's really scary. Don't go back. Take. All right. So another thing I want to say is it takes years for them to come attend to you. It takes years. Brazil doesn't rush. They let you leave. They attend to so many cases. Unlike in Europe, it's quick like this. If they don't see anything wrong with you in your country, they deport you. But Brazil takes time. It might even be 5 years, 4 years, 6 years before. So you can, on that asylum ID, you can do anything. Before I get there, once your story is done, you're telling your story, you're done doing everything, the people, the organization that will be helping you, or if you do it yourself, will also help you book appointments to go to the Policía Federal, which is federal police in English. Federal police in English, okay? Policía Federal. If you're living in Sao Paulo, Policía Federal is in Lapa, L-A-P-A, Lapa, okay? That's where immigrants go for documentation and all of that stuff. Any type of documentation, permanent residency, refugee, passport, that is where immigrants go, okay? There is in Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, where I lived before, but I can't remember the name right now, okay? So it's everywhere, okay? There's a Policía Federal somewhere that you need to go to process all your documentation, okay? You just need to find that place, the Policía Federal, in the city where you live. Any city in Brazil, there's always a Policía Federal that attends to immigrants. All right, so I haven't told your story and haven't done everything. In my case, they even forwarded my story to me, Caritas in Rio de Janeiro. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for helping me and for being there for me at that time. All right, so they even sent me my story. Even till now, I still have it on my phone through their WhatsApp so that I don't forget what I have said. That's the essence of them sending you your story, so that you don't forget when they call you for an interview, so you can read through and remember exactly what you said. So they forwarded my story to me for the future. If you have sense, you have sense. If you don't have sense, you don't have it. All right. Anyway, I haven't done that. When like I said, they'll book you to go to the Policia Federal for fingerprinting and capturing. Okay, remember, if you're a criminal anywhere in the world, that day it will show. You feel me? If let's say maybe not minor criminality, maybe, you know, like a international criminalism. All right. So, and maybe your information is already on the internet or somewhere, it will show on that day, and that will tell them that they cannot grant, they already would not even take it further with you at the Policia Federal. They're not that they will arrest you or something because you didn't commit a crime in their country, but they might not move on with it if you're an international criminal. So be careful as not to commit crimes in people's country or anywhere you find yourself, and even in your home country. Don't be a criminal, okay? Anyway, after you fingerprint, you might you know, after you might not even know that day that maybe you're a criminal, blah blah blah. They might even still take all the fingerprinting because they still need to check your history and all of that stuff before they proceed with you. But at the end of the day, after capturing, fingerprinting, they give you a temporal ID. It's in form of a paper. All your information will be on it. Your ID number, your name, your mother's name, all these things will still be on your original ID card while the process is. When it comes back to you, when the ID card comes back to you, like when it's ready, the real one, the real plastic, when it's ready, the same information you have on that paper form is the same information that will be on that card. All right, they just gave you that paper so you'll be able to access things. You can do things, you can go to school, you can apply for things, you can submit it as your ID card, just to make life easy for you pending the time your ID card is ready. All right, so now another question I think I answered. So it's immediately they give you your temporal. So to answer that question, it is immediately they give you your temporal residency. Immediately you are done fingerprinting. You go to when you go to the Policia Federal, if they book you an appointment, any day you go there, you fingerprint, you capture. The moment they give you that paper, it means you already have a temporal residency in Brazil. It is immediate. On the same day, you go for your capturing and fingerprinting at the Policia Federal. Do you understand? Do you feel me? Anyway, so moving forward, I got another question here that said, can somebody seek asylum? Can somebody who seeks asylum bring his family after he has gotten a permanent residency? Okay, now this person is asking, like, after you've got your asylum, you have your temporal ID card. When you subsequently change from asylum ID to permanent residency, somehow, however you do it, this person is asking, can I bring my family in? Absolutely yes. Okay, because now you're free, you've broken free from the asylum ID thing. Remember that if you are on asylum ID card, or asylum residency, I would say, you cannot travel to the same country you claim that you have problems, you have war, you have people destroying your life and all of that stuff. You cannot return back there. You can actually travel to other countries, maybe neighboring countries around Argentina, Bolivia, all these countries around Brazil. You can go. Or if you want to go further to Europe, you have to take permission, you know, from the, you have to go to the Policia Federal to tell them you want to travel, but not to the country you claim that there's war, there's problem, there's this and that happening to your life, and then you go back there. The moment you enter there, your asylum ID will be cancelled. So you have to be patient, stay in Brazil, organize yourself. Maybe you have a family back home, you want to find a way to bring them in. Make sure you do whatever you want to do. Swap to permanent residency before you bring your family in. Do you understand? On the day of your asylum, do not let me forget, on the day you're seeking your asylum, writing your story, filling your form, they're going to ask you in the form if you have family members back home you want to add to the process, okay? So this is why they ask you that question, so that when they grant you your permanent residency, on the day they call you for your interview, they ask you questions, they ask you about your story, what's your problem. If they find you, they deem you fit enough, good enough for them to give you the permanent residency. They want to give you, oh wow, your story is so alarming, your story is so sad, your story is so scary, we want to grant you this permanent residency. The moment they do that, you will be able, the reason they tell you to, they ask you for your family members back home is when they grant you the permanent residency through asylum, those people you've mentioned in your asylum form, you will be able to bring them in on your permanent residency when they now grant you through asylum. Do you understand? So let's say you wish to wait. I know somebody, a Nigerian guy, who has been waiting for 6 years now. They've invited him for the interview. He went, he told the story. He's still waiting for a decision, maybe 1 or 2 years later from the day he went for the interview. So the guy didn't bother swapping, changing to permanent residency, or doing what people do to get permanent residency. He didn't do it. He's just waiting. Do you understand? He's just waiting. It's been like 6 years now. He's gone for his interview, I think, after 4 or 5 years. And now he's waiting to see if they will grant him. If they don't grant him, I don't know what's going to happen to him. Maybe he's going to go back home. But Brazil is not wicked like they are not wicked like they will just expect you or just deport you or carry you like the way they do in Europe. Brazil is not like that. I think you can always find a way to maneuver things and just stay, and they won't kill you for it. What matters to Brazil is, at the end of the day, have documentation. Have proper documentation, because where it's going to affect you is when you go to the bank, you go to the hospital, they'll continue to ask you document. That is where you will have problem. But personally, that Brazil will start disturbing you because you don't have, they don't disturb people, but it will affect you because everywhere you go, bank, hospital, school, they would always ask you for what? Documento. That is where they have sense. They know somehow you will meet your karma if you don't have documents. But do they bother you? They don't bother you. They don't disturb you, right? So that is the essence. So if you want to wait for the asylum decision, remember to add your family member, your wife, your husband, your children, you know, grandparents, because those are the people that are entitled to it. Grandparents, mother side, father side, add all those people to it because they're entitled to permanent residency once you get permanent residence. Okay. So anyway, moving forward, I think, is there any other thing I want to say? So I think that's the question. So now let's talk about accommodation when you seek asylum. Will they mandate you to stay in asylum? What do they call this now? An asylum house or asylum? They don't mandate you to stay. It's your choice if you want to stay. It's your choice if you want to leave. They actually don't even come to tell you come and stay in the house. As soon as they give you asylum residency, they don't say come and stay in that house, or they don't prepare a place. It is if you want, if you don't have a place to live, tell them to apply for a government house for you. That's asylum, what if you can call it asylum home, but it's a government. Anybody can go to the government house to live. For example, God forbid, I don't have a place to live, I don't have money, I will just go to these organizations. They will help me. Then they find me a government house. I go there, and then I start living there. They feed them. They give them food morning, afternoon, night. They provide some bathing, toothing materials. It might not be perfect like the way you want it, like in your private home, but they do try their best. Okay, they try their best to provide whatever they can provide for you. But food, you will definitely eat well, and you're allowed to go out and come in. You're not a prisoner, but there are rules. You should know there are rules. You can't behave anyhow anywhere. All right, it's just like a boarding school. All right, you have your life. You can go out. I think you need to sign in, sign out, or something like that, so that they can account for your well-being. They can account for your well-being, not because of any other thing. They can account for your existence. They can account for, oh, this person is here, that person is there. Okay, this person has gone out. They won't tell you where to say where you're going, but you have to register in, register out, so that they know that you just left the building. So when you're coming back, they can account that, okay, yeah, you've returned to the building. Okay, so there are rules. Aside from that, so it's your choice if you want to. So even if I'm not a refugee and you have a problem, you need a place to stay, you can stay in the government house. They can process it for you, and then you stay in the government house. Anybody can. And it's okay if you don't have money. I don't see any problem why you cannot manage your life and just be wherever you want to be. All right. So anyway, that is that for that. Let me see. Somebody also asked if they take your passport from you when you seek asylum. How can they take your passport? That is not human. It's very inhumane if they take your passport from you. That is slavery. Nobody takes your passport from you if you seek asylum. Your passport is with you, remains with you. You can use it anywhere, and then you can either stay in the government house or go and stay wherever you want to stay. And now when you get your asylum ID card, you can do anything with it. You are free. You are just like a citizen. You can do anything a citizen and a permanent residency holder can do. You can go to school. You can work. You can open a bank account. You can exist. You can go to school for free. Any privilege a citizen has, a permanent residency holder has, an asylum seeker holding the asylum ID card has the same. There is no difference between a citizen, a permanent residency holder, and an asylum seeker. Everybody is the same in Brazil. The only difference is, okay, you're a citizen, okay, you're a permanent residency holder, okay, you are an asylum seeker. That's just by word of mouth and maybe ranking in life, I don't know. But in real, achieve what you can receive or things you can benefit, all of you have the same benefits, okay? So anyway, that is it from me today. If you have more questions, put it down in the comment section below. I think I've answered all the questions that I received. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Have an amazing day, everybody. Bye-bye.